Imagine a palace. Imagine marble floors, glittering chandeliers, gilded mirrors. Now forget all of it. Because what if the daughter of Spain's king and queen, Infanta Sofia, found herself not in a palace, but in a single student room in Lisbon, for just €590 a month? Royalty. Ordinary walls. And an unexpected story begins. The news may sound shocking. A princess, a future queen's sister, living in what many would call an ordinary residence. But this is not the tale of glittering crowns. This is the tale of a young royal, stepping into adulthood, choosing independence, and quietly reshaping the image of European monarchy. Why Lisbon? Why a single room, when entire palaces stand at her family's disposal? Why €590, a figure closer to the struggles of students than to the luxuries of princesses? Each question pulls us closer. Each answer leads us deeper into her world. Sofía de Borbón y Ortiz, second daughter of King Felipe VI and Queen Letizia, has always stood slightly in the shadow of her sister, Leonor, the heir to the Spanish throne. Leonor's path is marked with ceremony, duty, expectation. But Sofía, her role is freer, less defined, yet no less important. And perhaps, that freedom is why Lisbon became her choice. Lisbon, city of light, of saudades, of Atlantic winds. A capital both modern and ancient, where trams creak up cobbled hills and students flood the streets at night, carrying guitars, laughter, and dreams. For Sofía, this was not exile. It was not banishment. It was opportunity. To live among equals. To study not as a princess, but as a young woman hungry to learn, to taste life beyond royal walls. Now picture it. A residence hall near Lisbon's universities. A building buzzing with young voices. Small rooms lined with books, laptops, clothes piled on chairs. Kitchens where students argue over pasta. And somewhere, behind one ordinary door, Infanta Sofía. Her name hidden on the mailbox. Her footsteps anonymous in the corridor. €590. A number whispered with disbelief. Because for many families, this is still a heavy burden. Yet for royalty, it is a symbolic gesture, humility, groundedness, a message to the Spanish people. Sofía is not drifting in luxury. She is sharing in the life of the students who will one day be her country's doctors, lawyers, engineers, artists. She is not above them. She is among them. But is this choice purely hers? Or is it carefully orchestrated by her parents, King Felipe and Queen Letizia, who understand the fragile state of monarchy in modern Europe? In Spain, Republican voices are loud. Criticism of royal spending grows stronger. For a monarchy to survive, it must adapt, evolve, humanize. And what better image than a young Infanta, paying her own rent, living with roommates, washing her dishes? A princess, but also a neighbor. And yet, beneath this image lies tension. Sofía's story is not free of conflict. Imagine Leonor, her sister, burdened by the destiny of the crown. Imagine the weight of tradition, expectation, ceremony pressing down on her shoulders. Then imagine Sofía, walking to class in Lisbon with a backpack, laughing with classmates, sipping coffee by the Tagus River. Freedom and responsibility, shadow and spotlight, sisters divided not by love, but by destiny. This tension breeds questions. Does Sofía envy Leonor, or does Leonor envy Sofía? When sisters grow in such different worlds, one gilded, one ordinary, what becomes of their bond? The walls of Sofía's Lisbon residence cannot speak, but if they could, they would tell stories of quiet evenings, of whispered phone calls home, of moments when she questioned who she was without her title. Because make no mistake, royalty stripped of ceremony becomes fragile, human. And in Lisbon, Sofía learned that lesson. Daily. Her residence is not large. A single room, modestly furnished. A bed pressed against the wall, a desk with notes scattered, a closet barely big enough for her clothes. And yet, to her, this small space is vast. It is independence. It is choice. It is the first taste of a life she carves for herself, rather than one written in royal decrees. But what of love? Among classmates, whispers rise. A royal, among them, vulnerable, approachable. Could Sofía fall in love not with a prince, but with an ordinary student from Lisbon? Could a future scandal be born in the very corridors of her residence? European royalty is no stranger to romantic controversy. From Denmark's crown Princess Mary to Spain's own Queen Letizia, love stories with unexpected partners have shaken traditions. Sofia's single room may hold not just textbooks, but secrets. Every decision she makes echoes beyond her. Because unlike a normal student, Sofía cannot vanish into anonymity forever. Cameras lurk. Journalists hunt for stories. Fellow students may be tempted to leak photos, rumors, or private details. Each friendship she builds, each trust she places, carries risk. And yet she chooses to stay. Why? Because growth requires risk. Because authenticity requires exposure. Her parents know this. King Felipe, raised under dictatorship, crowned in democracy, understands how fragile monarchies can be. Queen Letizia, once a journalist herself, understands how public opinion shifts with the smallest story. Sofia's Lisbon chapter is not rebellion. It is strategy. A quiet, calculated adaptation of monarchy to a restless, skeptical society. But adaptation is never simple. Within the palace, whispers rise. Advisors question the optics. Critics warn of danger. If Sofía is seen as too ordinary, does she diminish the mystique of royalty? If she is seen as too privileged, does she inflame the anger of struggling citizens? The line she walks is razor thin. And every euro of that 590 is symbolic. Still, Sofía persists. Morning after morning, she blends into the crowd of Lisbon students. She attends lectures, takes notes, walks cobbled streets at sunset. Some recognize her, most don't. And perhaps that is the greatest gift Lisbon offers her, anonymity, however fragile, however fleeting. Yet one day, her life will change again. Her sister will ascend the throne. Sofía will be thrust into ceremonies, into titles, into responsibilities that no Lisbon residents can shield her from. And when that day comes, the experience of these months, the small room, the shared kitchen, the laughter with classmates, will shape how she carries herself as a royal. Not distant, not untouchable, but human. And so the question lingers, is Sofía's Lisbon story temporary, or is it the seed of a future where royals are no longer defined by castles, but by common rooms, by ordinary lives made extraordinary through empathy and humility? In the end, her residence is more than walls and rent. It is a symbol, a quiet revolution within monarchy. And whether history remembers it or not, those who lived alongside her in Lisbon will never forget that, for a time, royalty lived next door. And perhaps, just perhaps, the girl who slept in a single room for 590 euros a month will be the one who changes how we see crowns forever.